I think sometimes people use these cliche sayings to like, I plunged myself $1 million in debt, but it takes money to make money. Well, not necessarily. Could you, and that's kind of our whole thing, right? Use the right resources you have available now to get your product to market.
No, to get to the next stage,
which
because then you're going to need new resources.
Ultimately, you're trying to get to market.
All right, this is the best episode we're going to ever have, T.
That's a big statement.
Big statement. We're going to live up to it.
I'm going to let you be the energy guy, and I'm going to be Mopey Zoom.
What's the matter?
I don't know.
Okay. So we're back. No Followers Podcast. Co-hosts Bob and T coming live from the incubator. New table, too. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Looks good. All right. Today we're going to talk about, and this is another great DM I got. Thanks for not reading anything, T. Stupid advice that we always tell people not to follow, even though everyone says it all the time.
It's not our stupid advice. I just want to be clear. We don't say the stupid advice.
No, this is advice that people give all the time that we think is completely stupid.
Okay.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Do you want me to frame it? So
Frame
here's
it
the
up.
one that irks me. Fake it till you'll make it. Fake it till you make it. I hate that. It is so stupid. It means that you're setting yourself up for failure and bad relationships forever because the people you meet when you first have your idea, you expect something from or to build a relationship to get a business going, and you've been BSing them the whole time. I cannot stand fake it till you make it.
That's my whole business model.
There we go. I like the disagreements.
No, I agree. I agree with you. I agree. I didn't know that we were starting, that. I thought we were trying to go for something specific.
That is specific.
I mean, something that like something someone said to you in the recent.
Somebody said that during a pitch.
That's very generic. I mean, people say, people do
They say it all the time.
They do say it frequently. Yeah.
And it's in a lot of literature and theory books.
There's a lot of Instagram baloney,
Yes.
I cut my 24 hours into a 4-hour day, and then I got 9 days a week, and then by the end of the year, I'm 3 years ahead of you. Like that's just nonsense.
So
it's just nonsense.
I hate it for the relationship build. I also hate it because it sells a dream that isn't reality of being an inventor, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner. I mean, so I just hate, that's the one, that's number one on my list. Well, but I have a lot of specific ones, but I'm going to let you talk about
Can I just,
this.
If I may?
No,
Bob,
not really.
It gets into why are you doing it?
I'm not listening.
Why are you doing it?
Why am I doing? I don't know why I'm doing this. That's another episode. Why do you and T? Well, actually, let me get this. No, it says
no, but hang on. But seriously,
we're going to stay on topic.
I'm going to stay on topic for the next 10 seconds. The fake it till you make it thing. The fake it till you make it thing is why are you trying to bring your idea to market? Because if it's for clout or if it's for image or if it's whatever it is, just hang it up. Because like every example of fake it till you make it, right? Fire Festival, you can, the Anna Delvey thing, like all this thing that's like, oh, if it seems like everything's going well, it takes money to make money. You know what I mean? Like, okay, there is
where's the salt gun? I am getting bombarded with flies.
Everyone be cool. Let's keep this live. If it lands on you, I'm lighting you up.
Land on the crap pile.
The shred of truth of like it takes money to make money is...
What, is that your advice?
No,
aren't we still on fake it till you make it?
But I think like fake it till you make it. It takes money to make money. Like cliche sayings that there is a shred of truth there. You do need working capital, right? But that doesn't mean you should plunge yourself $1 million in debt to sell window washers, right? Like you need the financial know-how behind it to know how much you should be putting in to get what return. So it takes money to make money, sure, at surface level or on some level.
But isn't that a certain level of common sense that seems to evade people at certain times of their lives?
Well, I mean, I think everyone's on a journey, right? Let's get spiritual, Bob. Everybody's on a journey. Everyone's on their own journey. And some of those journeys end sooner than later. No, everyone's on a journey. And I think sometimes people use these cliche sayings to like, I plunged myself $1 million in debt, but it takes money to make money. Well, not necessarily. Could you, and that's kind of our whole thing, right? Use the right resources you have available now to get your product to market.
No, to get to the next stage, because then you're going to need new resources.
Ultimately, you're trying to get to market, right? So if you're in state, as we described them, phases 1, 2, or 3, it's
sometimes
to get
3A.
Sometimes it's to get to the next phase, but use the resources you have as wisely as possible to get your product to market, because the best way to raise money is to sell product, right?
Well, that is absolutely what we believe, and that's on my dumb advice list too.
All right, so let's go to another one, Bob.
Oh, we're not going to finish with fake it till you make it? There's so many issues with that, though.
Oh, go ahead. I see that it's really stuck in your craw.
It's the thing I argue against all the time, right? It talks about being inauthentic, irrelevant,
disingenuous.
It also is when you're starting out with an idea, you need to surround yourself with complementary skill sets. If you're all BS and bravado, and what is your term? Big timing?
Yeah, don't big time me.
Okay, if somebody's big timing and then you're partnering up with other people, they're expecting you to bring more to the table. So it's not a real partnership anyway. So I have a real problem with that. But
something that goes along with fake it till you make it is an example that I hear all the time that, again, a shred of truth, but is, and I don't know if this is true, but the story about Steve Jobs and the iPhone launch, that during the launch, they didn't have one iPhone that could do everything. Couldn't do text, voice call, music, movies, all that. So they had 4 different samples, and he held up each one to show, knowing that once they got rolling and built hype and had orders and all this stuff, they could finish the development. I don't know why I said it like that. They could finish the development and go from there.
I think you're arguing against my fake it till you make it. That's faking it till you make it.
My point with that is that is a very specific example of having the right resources in place and it truly being a matter of time. The opposite of that is Theranos, right? Elizabeth Holmes. Fake it till you make it. You're trying to do something that experts in the field are saying is not possible. Investigate why. You need to have the emotional intelligence. Now, let's say she said, we want to do some tests with a single drop of blood. From my understanding, that would have been doable. But the fake it till you make it, we can do everything we need on one drop. Well, it's the same mindset of with enough money, you can accomplish anything. It's just not true.
But let's go back, right? Because they raised a ridiculous amount of money on nothing because other people are also in the same mindset.
Yeah.
So if that's your goal, just to raise money.
Well, that's another ridiculous piece of advice is.
Well, yes,
just
that's on my list.
Do a seed round and then do another seed round. And then you can do a series A and then you can do a series B. And then you can do, at some point you got to stop raising money and just sell product. And while we're on the topic of raising money, and you shouldn't have brought this up, the cheapest way to raise money
is to sell things, have revenue.
It's just, if you are choosing between debt and equity, is debt. If you are a product...
I'm going to disagree. It's royalties. Our model. There you go.
Well, I don't know. You'd have to see over the lifespan of the product and discount it back based on future cash flows.
You
and
can
see
make do that math
right now.
You
can see which one you'd want, paying interest versus paying a royalty.
Yeah, but it's also what deal you can structure to raise the money.
Right. But what I'm saying is if you are a company or a product that is in revenue, you are selling product, you have positive cash flow, and you need to buy equipment, in my opinion, to sell equity to get that equipment
is very expensive.
So
what company only uses debt? Here, T usually tries to trick me. What company? Ha!
Is it a large company?
Yes.
Can I get an industry?
Nope. They make products.
They only use debt funding?
Yep. Do we have some kind of clock?
Bow, bow. Oh no, we can't use that song. It's probably
Yeah. Probably.
that was nothing. That was 2 notes of nothing I just made up in my head. I don't know, Bob. Just tell me. Let the people
Dyson.
know. Oh,
Why couldn't you know that?
because I've used their products and their
Wow.
batteries suck. They don't last long.
You can buy the electrical.
The
Power
plug-in
ones.
ones. What's the point? The Dyson V8. Give me a break.
Okay.
Anyways, Bob.
All right. Well, that was good.
All right, go ahead. What else you got? I'm still on the hunt for flies.
You're really helpful in this podcast. I'm glad you showed up today.
Bob, what can I do
So
for
the
you?
other one is a go-to-market strategy to raise money, to hire somebody to raise more money.
Yeah, at some point you got to stop raising money.
All right. So here's another one. Build it and they will come.
First of all, phenomenal movie. Field of Dreams?
I know what movie it was.
Phenomenal
I
movie.
thought you were going to try to
Phenomenal movie.
trick the cameraman.
Kevin Costner in his prime? Please.
Are you fanboying?
No, it's just a great movie. He's a great actor. Go ahead. Tell us.
You didn't say anything.
No, you said build it and they
So-
will come. It's
Mr. Fabricator, shouldn't you have something to say here?
first of all,
I was trying to tease it up for you.
you said Mr. Fabricator like as a dig. I'm gonna make that's my new persona.
That was not a dig.
I agree with you. If you build it, they will come. No, the number one thing that I see that people discount is distribution. The thought of
You got to go way before distribution.
no. What I'm saying is the if you build it, they will come. Ignores distribution. It goes, if I make a good enough widget, if I make a good enough thing, I will be selling this so fast. Because you hear the stories, right? Oh, we built one, we took it here, and then we couldn't fill orders fast enough. And as you know, in my
Are you
opinion,
going back to instant traction?
Instant
You're in
traction
love
is
with instant traction
because
as
it's
a
not
theme.
real. But the point is that if you build it, they will come thing ignores what are the distribution channels of your industry? Where do your customers buy? What are your customers' buying behavior? What's their buying cycle? How are you going to get product to market? Are you going to set up an online store? Are you going to use established retailers and wholesalers? Is it going to dilute your brand? Like all these different things you have to account for. And if you build it, they will come. It's just this pie in the sky. I will say the biggest thing that I think people negate is how am I going to distribute this? We've both worked with numerous customers together and independently
Not anymore.
that have the mindset of for one thing, we call it prototype stall out, right? Or prototype burnout. I need the prototype. You build the prototype, and now what? And then you do nothing for 6 months. And then when you're beyond prototype, you're into MVP, you're ready to sell. You have all the stuff you talked about. You know who your customer is, or you have a theory or a hypothesis of who your customer is, and how much you can sell it for, and you got all that, and you got your product market fit, you got your feature benefit, you got all that stuff. You can do everything perfectly. If you can't get it into the hands of that target market, doesn't matter. And so that if you build it, they will come thing is just baloney.
Okay. Other stupid advice. Get IP first. Protect your invention.
I'm going to differ from you on this
I know you do.
because I think it depends on your product and your market.
Then we agree.
No problem. I'll see you later.
No, then we agree on that one because it does depend on industry, technology level. But a lot of people go get IP for no reason.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, our buddy.
We have a lot of buddies that have come in here with IP, and I don't even know what
Yeah.
lawyer they found to do that. And
Well,
my biggest
lawyers
problem
will
is
do
it pulls all the money out of actually creating a usable product.
Well, and there's a difference between IP and good IP. Listen, if you are going to get IP, right, and we can bring in experts to debate this with us or discuss it or agree with us.
We have an upcoming workshop on IP
Sure.
that we're sponsoring
Yeah.
in
What?
September. Did you know? I guess not. Okay.
Yeah, you can fill me in later. To say I'm going to build the product perfectly into completion and then investigate whether or not I have IP yields a bunch of problems. For one thing is disclosure. If you are working on your invention and it could be construed as in a public space, or you post it on social media, or you post it to your website, or you do a podcast and it's in the background, that can be construed as your market disclosure. And now the clock has started ticking of how long you have to file that IP. I believe that it's an IP portfolio that brings the most value, because you start broad, you get specific, you build multiple patents or trademarks or everything, ideally everything on top of each other. And now you have a protected product depending on your industry.
Not protected. It gives you the right to sue. You are not protected
It's only
anything.
as good as you can enforce it.
That's right. So that's the
and
biggest
there's also
problem.
a difference between getting IP and getting good IP.
Yep.
You know,
So
there's a lot that goes into it.
Thank you.
But I also don't think you should discount it and say, don't worry about IP. There are some products that don't worry about IP. But
it shouldn't be, okay, but it shouldn't be your first spend. You need to do market research. You need to do more things before you go get IP. But also, people come to us and say, I'm going to get a patent because I'm going to protect this. And then we say, you're not protecting anything because you're publicly disclosing.
Once you
once
patent
you put it out, there are other countries and other trolls all over the universe reverse engineering what you're doing already.
Yeah. But I mean, like, those people reverse engineering and doing it already, chances are they're big enough that they're doing that no matter what. And
No,
like,
exactly.
you're not, especially if they're foreign, it will be difficult for you to, it's not getting the foreign patents, it's enforcing them.
Yep. And and listen, we went down a rabbit hole many years ago against a very large brand, lost miserably. We were in the right. It was our product. They took it. I couldn't enforce it. So, been on both sides. Last one to wrap this up. People always say you got to learn how to sell. I hate that advice, because it's not you have to learn how to sell. It's you have to learn how your customer is going to buy. That's what I think is more important.
When I said that
You never said that.
mere moments ago,
Wait, when did he say that?
you
Roll
basically
the tape on that one.
Yeah, roll the tape on it. I said, how do your customers buy? And
So I have to hear
I
from
said
Mr.
the
Fabricator.
exact words, knowing how your customers buy. And now here we are 2 questions later, and you're like, you have to know how your customers buy. Bob, I agree with you. Let's wrap this up.
With an agreement?
I'm going to get my
But
firearm.
we have to make some.
I'm going to hunt down this
We have to make a
mouse.
final point for our audience, though.
The point is,
If you don't know how to sell, that is not the skill you got to learn.
well, yeah, that's a bigger point.
Thank you.
Well, you didn't really make the point. I'll make the point.
You kind of interrupted me.
I
'cause you got
set
all
you up for
on
your
high
Olympic
horse.
moment.
Ray gun.
The point is, when you're building your team, you need to have the emotional intelligence and the self-awareness to know what you do and what you don't do. I'm a horrible salesman. That's the truth. I'm not a good salesperson. I am passionate about what I do. I can talk to you forever about it. I believe in what I do. And if that sells you, great. But I'm not a salesperson. Like, I'm not I'm not always be closing and yada, yada,
That's
yada.
why we bought that mascot costume for you.
Yeah.
You're going to dance outside
But there are
later.
people that can go out and I don't believe in cold emailing or cold
Nope.
calling personally,
Me
but
either.
there are people that can do that. There are people that know how to sell. You can give them any product. If that is your business model, put that person on your team.
But great salespeople know how their customers buy.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, if that's not your
Complementary team.
Yes. Get the sale. Just like if I'm going to build out a tech product, I'm not going to learn how to code and then write the code and whatever. I'm going to find the people that are the best at that can do what I need for the resources I have at the time and build the team out that way.
You want to wrap this up, Mr. Fabricator with no emotional intelligence?
It's Mr. Fabricator here. And this was another episode of Dumb Advice brought to you by Bob. Bob?
Bob T, No Followers Podcast. Please follow First Strike Incubator online. Subscribe to our channels. We'll see you next time.